It is the Grass Flutter Spoon from Big Joe over there at Weedless Lures on Lake Fork. He's actually the guy that invented the flutter spoon. We've talked to you about him before, shown you some of his flutter spoons a little bit. But this is a new one. This is kind of a smaller version of a flutter spoon. And it's got a couple different things on it that we're going to talk to you about today. But this is for grass, and it has been killing the fish lately. So first, let's go over my setup. How am I throwing this bait? The tackle that I'm throwing it on. I'm using a 610 medium heavy rod. It's important on these spoons, and you'll see why when I talk about how to retrieve the bait and how I actually catch the fish. You need a rod that has some give to it. You need a little bit of a softer action rod. 610 medium heavy seems to be the right one for me so far. It's been working really well. Once I figured out how to work these fish, I haven't really been losing any. Online, I'm actually using 12-pound mono. Again, I want stretch, I want forgiveness, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. And I want a small diameter because I don't want that line to affect the flutter of that spoon at all. So I'm using 12-pound mono. And that seems weird fishing it in grass, and it is tough. But if you do that, it helps your landing ratio tremendously with that lighter line. For the spoon itself, this is the one we're using. It comes in a few different colors. He's got this one, which is just like a shad color with a silver highlight. And then he's got the silver spoon with the chartreuse highlight, the silver spoon with a blue highlight. You can get any three of those colors. The big difference in this versus a regular flutter spoon, here's the Big Joe, the normal flutter spoon. This is the Jumbo Joe. This one has that big treble hook on the back of it. That, as you see, has just one single hook, small hook. The deal with that is with that one small hook, it allows you to rip that bait from grass. And kind of like, you know, ripping a lipless crankbait or a chatterbait out, you rip it out and it shoots out and then flutters back down. And this is just a totally different action than those fish are used to seeing on those grass flats. We all know the effectiveness of the flutter spoon over the years has been tremendous. And now we're taking this to an area that these fish, they never see this. Nobody else is throwing this in there. And it's a brand new deal, and boy, it's been on fire for us lately. As far as on the areas that we're fishing, it's outside edges of grass. You know, on Lake Fork specifically, we're throwing this bait in the creek channel, actually in the channel itself where the grass is not growing. Right where that grass stops growing, creates that edge, scatters out a little bit. That's where I'm throwing this. Also, the deeper flats that have some grass out in 6 foot of water, 7 foot of water, where that grass starts scattering out a little bit and it doesn't grow all the way to the surface, we're throwing that spoon out there, letting it fall down into the tops of that grass and then ripping it out. But it's been really effective in those type of areas. All right, so now let's talk about how we're working this bait, and then what may be the most important part of this video is going to be how do I work that fish once I get a hook in him, because that is a big important part. If you just try to horse these fish in and, you know, jerk the hook real hard on the hook set and really try to horse it to the boat, you're going to lose almost every fish if you do that. So as far as how we're retrieving it, making long casts. Then I'm going to take my spool is loose right here. I'm going to thumb my spool and strip line and throw it back out there. And that's going to allow that spoon to fall on slack line. I'm going to wait till it gets all the way to the bottom. And then once it's on the bottom, right there, just hit bottom, I'm going to go ahead and give it just a couple hops. You know, we rip that spoon pretty aggressively. Especially when it gets watered up in that grass, you'll have to really rip on it to get that grass off a lot. Once it does, it'll bust free and shoot out and then flutter right back down in their face. One of the other techniques that I actually was taught from Joe himself, and this applies to the big spoon as well, is you know, not being quite so aggressive. Just hop it like a, you know, little Texas rig. Just give it little hops. And, you know, when we're fishing the outside edge of that grass, creek channels, and just some of the outside edges of grass and open flats, we're doing that little subtle, just a little short hop like that right there. And that's getting a lot of bites. That's just something a little bit more soft and subtle those fish don't see a lot from a spoon, and just another way to kind of be a little bit more finesse while you're still fishing a power fishing technique. So that's basically it on the retrieve. There's not a lot to it. You can either rip it high, you can just barely hop it off the bottom like I'm doing there, but you want that spoon moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down. You always want it to be having a little bit of a flutter in it as much as you can, because that's when they bite it. Once you feel a bite, you don't want to just jerk and set the hook like a jig or a Texas rig or anything like that. If I'm down here and I get a bite right now, I'm just going to kind of raise up. I'm going to burn that reel. I'm actually going to just raise that rod up to get that line tight, and I'm going to set that hook with this reel handle. Now, I do want it to dig in. I want that rod to really load up right at first. But as soon as I've got them all the way loaded up, I'm going to get that rod down. And when he goes to jump, I'm going to go all the way down here. And I'm going to try and keep that fish from jumping. And if he does jump, I want as much of that line in the water as possible. The reason that is like we showed you, we got that one little hook. And that's a pretty good amount of metal on there, and that's a pretty good amount of weight for that little bitty hook. If you're pulling up, when that fish jumps, he's going to use that weight, and he's going to throw that hook 9 times out of 10. So you really have to be careful. Once you've got that hook dug in good, you really got to baby them. If they run, let them run. Let them wear themselves out. One of the best things that can happen is for them to get wadded up in some grass, and they're just going to sit still with that grass over their eyes, and you can go get them. But that's very, very important. I can't stress the importance of that enough, and you'll see that. I'm going to show you some fish catches here in just a second, and you'll see how easy I'm taking it on these fish. And when you don't, it will cost you. Hey, that's a brand new flutter spoon fish from Joe's Baits. This is the first time I've ever thrown that. Caught a fish. Hey, how long have we thrown? 10 minutes? Not even 10 minutes. Caught a good one. Absolute grind. We're doing the best we can to get some on camera, but that's a nice fish right there. But look, caught another fish. It's on that new Joe's Baits invention that we've been telling y'all about. I think we're getting pretty dialed in. It's working pretty good right now. Sink. Really? Fish on my new Joe's Baits spoon. I'll tell y'all a lot more about that here in the near future. Another solid fish. Now we got something going, huh? Alright, so there's you a couple fish catches. You saw how we landed them, how easy we had to take it on them. You also see how effective it is. Man, they get to biting that thing almost every cast when you find a group of them. It's incredible. So, give Joe Spates a call. He's linked below. His number's down there. His name's down there. Give him a shout. He does do phone orders. He does not have a website. He does phone orders. He's very old school. But if you call in a phone order, he will ship to you. So either stop by. He's at Highway 17 at the Little Mustang Bridge, Weedless Lures, or give him a call on the phone and get you some ordered. I promise you won't regret it. Brand new tool for a brand new area. These fish haven't seen it before, and they are smoking them. And just go get you some and then thank me later. Well, I guess that's it. We appreciate you guys watching Your Lake Fork Guide as always. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if there's some more details you want to know about the spoon. If there's a certain technique that you want to see covered on the channel in the near future, just let me know, comment right below. We appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time right here on Your Lake Fork Guide.